If I had to sum up the culture wars in a sentence right now, I'd say we live in a world where we have wolf whistling as illegal, but paternity fraud as completely legal. And I think that's really where we're at. It's quite a state of affairs, isn't it? You walk outside now and go at someone, that's it, that's illegal. I mean, it's a fine in France, it's a fine in Victoria. I know in Australia, Larissa Waters pushed hard to have it called some sort of harm or some sort of abuse or something like that. More often than not, probably just a compliment. But I mean, you all got your own thoughts on it. Do we have to police everything? We're policing this. But some lady's having an affair with a neighbour or the milkman or whatever, gets pregnant to him, never tells the husband about it, and the husband thinks he has kids, doesn't. Husband goes, gets a vasectomy, now he can never have kids, only to find out that he never had kids anyway, and now he never can. We're just going to be fine with that. That's okay, right? I accept it's hard. You can't fucking test every kid that's in the hospital, and you can't. It's quite invasive if you try and test it. Very invasive if you want to test it in utero. So I understand the difficulties to it all, but still you've got to sell this to young men and say, hey, we did our best to create a fair world and the justice system works and participate in free speech and come and join us all. We're doing the right things. This little line of mine, it doesn't seem that we are. Now this wolf whistling thing didn't just happen on its own. You had to have organised activist groups and you had to have politicians speak and convince, and regulations needed updating and corporations needed to update their policy procedures, and HR ladies had to create PowerPoint presentations. Like, it happened over a long period of time. We're not going to be able to in the future just write it down to some quirk of history. And hey, there's more things than just wolf whistling being illegal, right? Like teaching every single kid in school about toxic masculinity, the American Psychological Association labeling traditional masculinity as a mental health issue or a mental illness. I mean, the Bud Light commercial, definitely, but there's a few more cultural things like that. All these young men have been taught in school and in university about toxic masculinity, and that includes, in its definition, hostility to women. Now, women want to find you, want to date you, but they want you to ask them out. But if you ask them out wrong, it can be sexual harassment. So you got to ask them out right. Now, if you ask them out not right enough, you're weak and you have the ick. Thanks for that word, girls. So you've got to ask them out just right. And then when you ask them out just right, you date them for a while. They take all your money on steak dinners and trips out. Maybe they like you, maybe they don't. Eventually you get a girlfriend, she wants to marry, so you marry, she wants to have kids, she has kids. 80% of divorces are started by women, and then you lose custody of the kids because she always goes for 100% custody, and 87% of the time she gets something very close to it. So hostility might be a strong word, but shouldn't young men have some defenses? So it would seem that why are we teaching about toxic masculinity without teaching about something? I don't know, surely there's toxic femininity, right? And here's the problem, and I sympathise. Saying Steve punched Barry is easy to say, well, that's wrong and you shouldn't do it. Barry called someone a bad name. Yes, that's bad and we shouldn't do it. It's an easy teach. Whatever toxic femininity is, what is it? Lying, scheming, duplicity, false compliments, passive aggressiveness. That's pretty hard to teach against. But every now and then the internet offers you up a gift. And there's the interview, a podcast on the Call Her Daddy podcast with Kate Hudson that's just dropped in the last week, and then Gwyneth Paltrow shortly afterwards. And it's a really good example. And I'm going to take a quick look at it, and we're going to see that surely young males are going to learn defenses against this sort of duplicity or whatever this is, right? The word probably doesn't even exist. It's probably a bad word that I shouldn't say, to be honest. Now, the schools haven't taught boys about it, so Andrew Tate has, and the manosphere has. So whatever the schools are doing, they're going to have to try and teach better than someone that's already taught them everything. But anyway, let's take a look at the podcast and let's see if you can pick up what this toxic femininity might be.
Have you ever caught someone going through your phone?
Oh, yeah. Emails.
Okay, so yeah, you shouldn't be going through someone else's phone. I suppose you could ask to. I suppose if you did, you should say, look, I'm terrible. I did it, but I found something. But no, I wouldn't have thought going through someone else's phone is very good. It's controlling. I'm pretty sure we have rules against that. And well, hey, we believe in gender equality, right? So it must go for both genders.
Have you ever gone through a phone?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Especially with shady guys, like full on.
How do you get in?
Oh, girls, any girl who says I would never is a liar.
Oh my God, it's my favorite hobby back in the day.
I mean, yeah. Oh, please, yes. It was a fabulous game.
I'm going to give you all the credit that you're smart enough to work out the hypocrisy and the absurdity of all of this.
I also did do the thing too, which is fun, where you just lie.
So lying's not great, right? We don't want people to just lie, and to lie to someone to trust. For what it's worth, the recipe for love, if you want someone to try and fall in love with you, is safety, trust, vulnerability, intimacy. They have to feel safe around you, and then they have to be able to trust you. Part of that is that you don't lie to them. Just fucking Kate Hudson, man.
Or I know you were here. How do you know that?
Because I have a friend that's the bartender and she was there and she saw you. Oh, it's so
I've done
fun.
all of it.
And that's the best is when you know they've fucked you over. And then you come up with the best lie of all time. And it's like, oh my God, I'm an
even
Olympian.
believe it. And they're
This is
like
a sport.
sweating. But people wonder why women should rule the world. Because we're incredibly resourceful.
Period.
See, and that's sort of the thing about this whole thing. That like the guy that checks a girl's phone and says, look, I checked your phone, I've seen the messages, let's do this. That's kind of good politics. Like when Donald Trump says, I'm going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Or when the politician genuinely tells you what's going to happen next and then asks for your vote and is clear about it. There's a power in that. There's a way of coming to power when the people, again, feel safe around you and trust you because they know that if you're about to do some serious shit, that you'll tell them first and try and seek their approval or their consent to be able to do this thing. What Kate Hudson's talking about here is women should rule the world because, like, we'd get away with everything and you wouldn't even know. Yeah, it's literally, like, authoritarian, horrible, totalitarian, like, before you know it, who you can and can't speak to, what you can and can't say, where you can and can't go, is under someone else's control and you didn't even know what was happening. That's what she's hinting at here.
It's like, guys,
No.
we're going to strategize this. And by the end of it, you're going to be sweating bullets and I'm going to leave you.
And that's just mean. That is just really mean. Like, you share a relationship with this person. They've trusted you. They've turned their back on you. You've seen them naked. You've fucking shared toothbrushes. You've lent money. You've got kids together, perhaps. That's just mean.
Or like if there's like 3 burner phones, like there's a problem. You know what I mean? It's going to get weird at some point. Like if you see a burner phone and a Dob kit, just run.
That you've chosen to date shitty guys, and so 100% of your dating experience is dating shitty guys because you go to where shitty guys hang out and wait for a shitty guy to come speak to you. Doesn't mean you get to teach all young women in the world that all men cheat and that all men carry burner phones.
It's not going to be a good ending.
Right. And
Which has happened to a couple of friends of mine where I'm like,
no.
Lie down with dogs, wake up with fleas, right? Would it kill us to teach people that?
what do you do if you see this? And I'm like, oh my God, babe.
Run.
Yeah, maybe run. Maybe run from the bad guy, but maybe see through what you started. Perhaps you're 50% of the problem. With Bonnie and Clyde, right? There was 2 of them.
Well, first look on it because I would love to know.
We need the thrill.
You gotta know.
I wanna know.
We gotta have something to talk about over dinner,
Right.
Cocktails. You laugh about it.
or like take it, just steal it, just like take the phone and then never talk to him again.
How did you find out?
I could tell where there was like logins. You know, it was like stupid. You know, it was like
Stupid.
yeah, which also is like. Bye. Like you gotta be smarter.
Like
than that.
you almost get like the ick because you're like, wait, like it would have been
You're
like
that-
cooler if you were like so sly.
Yeah, but you're.
I'm getting
like,
a notification.
so- yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
No.
Clearly, someone's on my. Yeah.
So what, it's hot if like the guy can cheat on you and get away with it? Like if you don't ever find out that he's controlling your life, or if he's super psychopath. What's the dark triad trait thing that you never actually find out about it? That's hot, but that he confronts you and says, look, I looked in your phone, that's gross.
It's like I always say it's about women, especially as women get older. There's sort of this concept around women that they should become less sexual as they get older. Made up thing,
Right.
That women as we get older are supposed to be.
Right, like died out. Like we're not even having sex.
a
We're not sexual.
shriveled- Yeah, when it's literally the opposite.
Yeah.
So what is a MILF? Do you guys remember when feminism had this big problem with the idea of MILF? Because why can't women just get into their 30s and be less sexualized? Now we're not just sexualized in our 20s, we are in our 30s because men invented the MILF. Kate's saying that she wishes women could still be considered hot and so totally sexualized and everything in their 30s. The pendulum just swings back and forth and we can never settle on anything that's true.
So somewhere down the line, men didn't really want women to be very sexy as they got older.
Right.
I think.
Like Pornhub is just all stepmoms and like 40-year-old women and young males because that's the young male fantasy. This is totally wrong, completely.
Talk about Danny.
Yeah, because Danny, like, he's just such a good man, and I'm not so sure I was like attracted to the good man.
Yeah, that it is kind of funny, right? At least she's aware enough to understand that she's never really been attracted to moral men. She's just done this whole thing about, oh, these shitty men that are always cheating on me, got burner phones. Yeah, it's because there are moral men out there and you're not attracted to them. Is that toxic femininity? Not being attracted to good people?
I liked a feisty, wild type. And
so rewarding bad men with sexual favors or like access or relationships or whatever.
He's such a lovely person. And I would have never, I think, allowed that in if I didn't take those 3 years of just being so happy in my life alone.
So what she was saying there was that she was always happy because she dated some bad boy, gangster, fucking whatever, guy that was up to so much exciting, borderline criminal stuff that she felt excited to. It wasn't until that she was in her 40s that she realized that she could be exciting, and then that would empower her to have a good man, which she's calling a boring man, because she finds immorality exciting. I mean, there's plenty of moral ways to be exciting, but apparently she doesn't think so. Surely this is that toxic feminine trait of saying the only way to be happy is to be on the run from the cops, or to have a guy that's yelling and screaming at you or running out on you or cheating on you because of drama, right? Love triangles and drama.
In the right place and like you're mentally focused on yourself. You're like,
So
I
great.
am fucking great. I don't need anyone. And that's where you want to get to when you're single. Like
I love it.
I have empathy
love
for
it.
women that when you get through out of a relationship, you almost have those withdrawal symptoms of like, oh my God, I'm used to having a partner. I'm used to having them here. And then
Yeah.
you get good at being alone. You're like,
And I don't think if I would have done that,
No, except that's not Kate, that's the host. But yeah, sorry, you do need someone, because fatherlessness has no good stats. It needs to be a dude in the house with you who's the biological father of the child. All the stats show it. You can't find me a single good stat saying that you don't need any, which is that's that toxic feminism stuff, right? Like that you can get everything on your own. I mean, these two ladies are Nepo babies. They're Nepo kids. They've made their money through family. But the rest of us, like working class men and women, we probably do need each other, and we do need to work out how to raise kids together. You can't just get rid of someone as soon as they become inconvenient, male or female. Maybe it's not about you. Maybe that having the partner isn't about how they make you feel. Maybe it's about what they do for the children, the fathering, and also the bank account. If you're like 95% of women, 2 incomes is a pretty good idea, right?
but I think that's a great thing for like all the women listening to think about. It's like, when you're single, you get anxious of like, okay, like I need to find who's my next person. Like, oh my gosh, like my clock, like what am I going to do? And it's like, if you just chill.
No, the clock's real, and another person does help.
Half the time when you get to the end, you're like, oh, I don't need anyone. Like they got to be fucking great if I find someone.
But the average man is average, and half of all men are below average, and half of all men are above average. There's some certain realities to what normative distribution of relationship traits go. You can't all go for the great guy, because he's going to get like 10 wives each, and yeah, then he definitely will cheat. He's got options. Do we want to get good at being alone? Is that something that we're pursuing as a virtue right now? All atomized and separate and alone?
there's this really funny, like I of course get fed all these like Aries
Love it.
memes. And there's this one where they're like, I'm an Aries, of course I da. Like, and there was one person who goes, I was like, I'm an Aries, like, of course I love to be in relationships. And then he's like, you like me back? Like, and just runs in the other direction.
Surely this fatalistic, I left the husband of my kids and so now he's at a suicide risk, and now my kids have no present father, and I've got a string of new boyfriends passing through the house with kids in the house because of star signs. Can we get that as toxic femininity?
And I think there's a little bit of like the Aries thing, which is like, we like newness.
Yeah.
Adventure, like excitement.
Yeah.
So like the sort of good man, like solid relationship is like Aries, I think a little bit in our head of like, a little bit like, is this gonna like,
It's fucking terrible. Seriously, a good man to hang around and father the kids is boring, and you won't have it because of a star sign. That's absolutely terrible.
is there gonna be something that's gonna keep this interesting, or is this the rest of my life? And I think a lot of like fire signs would relate to this. And
Maybe paying bills and raising kids is interesting. Maybe that is positive.
so for me, that those 3 years was like, oh, I'm actually like really I loved being without, because I was so happy alone.
Girls, you might not be happy alone. It's not as good as it sounds.
Like that sort of like excitement thing was like, that's actually not really,
you don't need it.
What's gonna,
You're like, I'm exciting.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm glad that she worked out that life isn't about finding the next exciting thing all the time, but surely bringing children into the world and raising them well with a father around is. So based on that, what toxic femininity is getting rid of anyone, anywhere because they become momentarily inconvenient, not wanting anyone around you unless they can excite you so you can be happy rather than seeing them as a person that has their own, seeing them as an end in and of themselves, and rejecting good moral men because they're boring. How about that for a start? The Gwyneth Paltrow ones, I'm not going to put it in there because this is getting long enough as it is, but the interviewer asks her, of all your boyfriends, who's better in bed? And she talks about, he was pretty good in bed, but he couldn't do this and he couldn't do that. Isn't that kissing and telling? I thought we weren't going to do that either. I don't think we're going to fool young men anymore that there is toxic masculinity, but there isn't toxic femininity, or that life's just difficult and we need to have some lessons. This podcast is the biggest podcast for women. Message is getting out to more young women than anything else. And you got to see the comment section. It is lit with positive comments saying that Kate Hudson's my favorite person and she's wise and she speaks only truth. I'd say we've got a problem.